Good day, everyone. So now that we already learned some of the topics in human resource management in the previous chapters, which is presented by the previous groups, we're in the first group, we learned about the talent management, including the performance management and human. The second group, we learned on how to align the human resource system with organizational strategy. And the third group, we learned about the strategic role of human resource management. And now, we will discuss to you the chapter 4, which is all about occupational health and safety. So when we say occupational health and safety, the first thing that comes in our mind is that it relates to health, safety, and welfare issues in the workplace and has a strong focus on primary prevention of hazards, which aim to prevent accidents and harm to people from work-related activities. Next. So objectives of OHS. So the first objective is the prime objective of occupational health and safety at a global level is to ensure that health and safety is accessible to every worker employed in any sector across the economy. So it is to secure the health, the safety, and welfare of employees and other people at work, to protect the public from the health and safety risks of business activities and eliminate workplace risks. The second objective is to maintain and promote work's health and working capacity of work. So the occupational health should aim at the promotion and maintenance of highest degree of physical, mental, and social well-being of workers in all occupations, the prevention among workers of departures from health costs by, by their working conditions. And the third objective is to improve the working environment and make work conductive to workers. So this means to create a positive work environment more deeply motivates and engage your employees, leading to higher job satisfaction and employee retention within your organization. Not to mention less stress among your employees, a healthy work environment gives you and your employees opportunities to share ideas for your company's success that can help your organization to grow. So a healthy office environment can also boost your employees' productivity and reduce your chances of dealing with frequent absenteeism and in certain industries, workers' compensation and medical claims. The fourth objective is to develop work organizations and working cultures in a direction which supports health and safety at work. So this is to improve the health of employees. Businesses can create a wellness culture that is employee-centered, provide supportive environments where safety is ensured and health can emerge, and provides access and opportunities for their employers to engage in a variety of workplace health programs. The fifth one is to promote a positive climate and smooth operation to enhance organizational activity. So in here, maintaining a positive work environment helps boost employee morale, retention, and productivity. So here is how to improve your workplace. Your work environment impacts your mood, drive, mental health, and performance. So if employees work in a dairy office setting with unfriendly workers, they likely won't have enough confidence or job satisfaction to speak up. That's why creating a positive work environment is critical to your company's success. Next. So according to the document, Global Strategy on Occupational Health for All, the 10 high priority objectives proposed by the strategy are as follows. So the first one is strengthening of international and national policies for health at work and developing the necessary policy tools. The second one is to develop of healthy work environment. And the third one is development of healthy work practices and promotion of health at work. Next. Another objectives of OHS is to strengthening of occupational health and safety, establishing of support services for occupational health, development of occupational health standards based on scientific risk assessment, and development of human resources for occupational health. Next. Another objective is the establishment of registration in data systems, development of information services for experts, effective transmission of data, and raising of public awareness through public information. Another is strengthening some researches. And lastly is to develop the collaboration in occupational health and with other activities and services. Next. So let's move to the context of occupational health and safety. So when we say occupational health and safety, it is a discipline with a broad scope involving many specialized fields. So it encompasses the social, the mental, the physical well-being of workers, that is the whole person. So in this, it aims at providing employees a general background information on occupational health and safety and on the magnitude and variety of health and safety problems worldwide. It would help develop an understanding of the ergonomic, the physical, the chemical, and the biological or psychological and social determinants of occupational health and safety. Next.
Historical and legal context. The origins of occupational health and safety concerns can be traced back to the Industrial Revolution, which was marked by innovations like cotton, spinning, and textiles, steam engines, iron founding, and etc. So historical in the early 90s, industrial accidents were commonplace in this country. For example, in 1907, over 3,200 people were killed in mining accidents. At this time, legislation and public opinion all favor management. There was few protections for the workers' safety. Today, industrial employees are better off than their colleagues in the past. Their chances of being killed in an industrial accident are less than half on that of their predecessors of 60 years. So yung historical na legal context, ibig sabihin napalitan or na-upgrade ito noong Industrial Revolution Industrial Revolution noong 18th and 19th century. Although the Industrial Revolution contributed to economic development for the negative impact of health and safety of the workers. So, so yung sabi ko nga, Industrial Revolution contributed to economic development in the negative impact of the health and safety of the workers working in these factors in that industries. So also dito sinasabi din, ang theoretical ay harmful sa mga employees, which means working conditions for all workers regardless of their job or industry, and to improve safety and guarantee safer. Next! Occupational health and safety is a cross-disciplinary area and it interacts with other disciplines such as occupational medicine, occupational or industrial hygiene, public health, safety engineering, ergonomics, toxicology, epidemiology, health physics, environmental health, industrial relations, public policy, industrial sociology, medical sociology, social law, labor law, and occupation health psychology. Occupational health has therefore gradually developed from a monodisciplinary risk-oriented activity to a multidisciplinary and comprehensive approach that considers an individual's physical, mental, and social well-being and general health and personal development. Across the world, acts, legislations, and policies were created with the objective of ensuring good health and safe work environments for all workers. Every country has its own act and policy on occupational health and safety. Next,
The next is the progress of occupational health and safety legislations in the Philippines. So, Article 8, Section 3 of the Philippine Constitution stated that the state shall afford full protection to labor. They shall be entitled to security of tenure, humane conditions of work, and a living wage. So, it shall guarantee the rights of all workers to self-organization, collective bargaining and negotiations, and peaceful converted or concerted activities, including the right to strike in accordance with law. They shall be entitled to security of tenure, humane conditions of work, and a living wage. So they shall also participate in policy and decision-making processes affecting their rights and benefits as may be provided by the law. So the next is Article 162. So in this article, the Secretary of Labor shall by appropriate order set and enforce mandatory of occupational safety and health standards to eliminate or reduce occupational health and safety hazards in all workplaces and institute new and update existing programs to ensure safe and safe healthful working conditions in all places of employment. So in here, Um, it shall be the duty of any employer to provide all the necessary assistance to ensure the adequate and immediate medical and dental attendance and treatment to an injured or sick employee in case of emergency. And lastly, Article 165, it is stated that DOLE or the Department of Labor and Employment shall be solely responsible for the administration, the enforcement of laws, policies, and programs in occupational health and safety. Next.
Definition of occupational health and safety. Occupational health and safety is the discipline concerned with preserving and protecting human resources in the workplace. Provision of occupational health services means carrying out activities in the workplace with the aim of protecting and promoting workers' safety, health, and well-being, as well as improving working conditions and the working environment. These services are provided by occupational health professionals, functioning, functioning individual or as part of a special service unit of the enterprise or of external services. Occupational health practice is broader and consists not only of the activities performed by the occupational health service. It is multidisciplinary and multi-sectoral activity involving, in addition to occupational health and safety professionals, other specialists both in the enterprise and outside, as well as competent authorities, the employees, the employers, workers, and their representatives. Such involvement requires a well-developed and well-coordinated system at the workplace. The necessary infrastructure should comprise all the administrative, organizational, and operative systems that are needed to conduct the occupational health practice successfully and ensure its systematic development and continuous improvement. As per the definition adopted by the joint ILO WHO Committee on occupational health is the adaptation of work to man and of each man to his job. It has the following components. First, promotion and maintenance of the highest degree of physical, mental, and social well-being of workers in all occupations. Next, prevention among workers of departures from health caused by their working conditions. Protection of workers in their employment from risks resulting from factors adverse to health, and placing and maintenance of a worker in an occupational environment adapted to his/her physiological and psychological equipment. Occupational health and safety relates to health, safety, and welfare welfare issues in the workplace, which as includes the laws, standards, and programs that are aimed at making the workplace better for workers, along with co-workers, family members, customer, and other stakeholders. Occupational health and safety standards are in place to mandate the removal, reduction, or replacement of job site hazard. OHS program should also include material that helps minimize the effects of the hazard. Employers and company management are obliged to provide a safe working environment for all their employees. So, in short, occupational health and safety, na base naman po natin and dun sa explanation na kailangang maging safe yung mga employees, na kailangan panatilihin na maging safe sila. Yun.
Principle of occupational health and safety. Occupational health and safety is a multidisciplinary field covering issues related to law, medicine, technology, economics, and industry specific concerns. The core occupational health and safety principles put forth by the ILO are as follows. All workers have rights. Workers as well as employees and government must ensure that these rights are protected and foster decent conditions of labor. International Labour Conference stated in 1984, work shall take place in a safety health environment. Conditions of work shall be consistent with workers' well-being and human dignity. Work shall offer real possibilities for personal achievement, self-fulfillment, and service society. Occupational health and safety policies must be established. Such policies must be implemented at both the governmental and enterprises level. They must be effectively communicated to all parties concerned. Prevention and protection must be the aim of occupational health and safety programs and policies. Information is a vital for the development and implementation of effective programs and policies. For health promotion is a central element of occupational health practice. Efforts must be made to enhance workers' physical, mental, and social well-being. Occupational health services covering all workers should be established, ideally all workers in all categories of economic activity shall have access to such services, which aim to protect and promote workers' health and improve workers' conditions. For compensations, rehabilitations, and corrective services must be made available to workers who suffer occupational injuries, accidents, and work-related diseases. Educational and training are vital components of safe, healthy working environments. Workers and employers must be made aware for the importance and the means of establishing safe working procedures. And for workers, employers, and competent authorities have certain responsibilities, duties, and obligations. For example, workers must follow established safety procedures. Employers must provide safe workplaces and ensure access to first aid. And the competent authorities must devise communication or communicate and periodically review and update occupational health and safety policies. And for policies must be enforced. A system of inspections must be in a place to secure compliance with occupational health and safety and other labor legislations.
Workplace and health. A workplace or place of employment is location where people perform tasks, jobs, and projects for their employee. Work is an important component of an individual's daily life. A major proportion of an individual's life is spent at the workplace, where he or she is expected to display their commitment and sincerity in performing various tasks. In contemporary time, workplace demand a high degree of expertise and competency from its workers in every task they perform. It means that a worker's time and the quality of work both play key roles in determining their performance and in ensuring the output product. Therefore, the question that needs to be asked is, first is a workplace only emphasizing the performance of tasks and on the outputs produced. The second is, what about the individual? Has any concern been shown towards protecting or restoring the well-being of workers? This should be mean addressing concern like workers' health, safety measures within a workplace, a pleasant and secure working environment, policies or system contributing to an employee's physical, social, and psychological well-being. Thus, approaching a workplace or an occupation from a perspective of health and safety of a crucial requirement and ID, the very basis of OHS. One of the most important lessons that many leading companies have learned is that encouraging and fostering a work environment that is fun and inspire employees to take joy in their work can reap numerous benefits because happy employees are loyal employees and the loyal employees can do amazing things. An, an individual's work environment is very crucial. The work environment can have a positive or negative impact on the individuals. The environment within a workplace is healthy and secure, which means that if the worker has sufficient structures and system that addresses the well-being of the worker, then the worker will be able to perform better and his or her productive level will be high. And in other words, the environment of the workplace has an impact on the individual's social psychological health, which has impact on the overall output. There have a positive and negative side. A positive employee help reduce stress, increase productivity as well as an interpersonal relations with others. Don't be afraid to show your passion. Always deliver high quality work and make sure others know that they can trust you and to get the job done. By demonstrating competence, it will leave a lasting impression. A negative effect is a bullying, harassment, and other negative behavior have similar consequences. Next slide. In a workplace or work environment healthy and safe, individuals' physical, social, and psychological well-being, workplace a higher productive. When we say safe and secure work environment, we not only referring to the availability of safe and hazard-free equipment or tools within a workplace, but also such as human relations within a workplace which have direct impact on a physical and psychological health of being individual. It helps an individual to develop positive attitude and look at the brightest side of life. Personality development plays an imperative role in workplace as it decide the way an individual interact with his fellow workers and responds to various situations. The role of governing board of the management of an organization holds important as they are the key people responsible for framing system and policies within a workplace and implementing them. If the senior management, the human resource department, and the team leaders or coordinator works toward ensuring a conductive work environment which is healthy and safe for all the workers, then the organization as a whole will benefit. Particular emphasis should be given to a woman and child, and there should be enough mechanism in all workplaces to secure that their health and safety requirements are addressed, as they are the most vulnerable. Governing board is have also have numerous responsibilities like overseas management, finance and quality, set strategic direction, build a community relations, establish establish ethical standards and values and compliance. In factories, constructions, work, mines, railway station, power plant, jewelry making, etc. Workers work in a mindset of dust. Example: extreme heat and cold temperature, strong bad light and loud sounds, where they face numerous physical, biological, or chemical health hazards. Women and child working in factories with a bad lighting or for longer working hours can prone to danger. Thus, every workplace must strive towards ensuring the well-being of the employees, irrespective of their sex, class, caste, and ethical identities. The definition of healthy workplace extended by WHO is a healthy workplace is one in which workers and managers collaborate to use a continual improvement process and promote the health, safety, and well-being of all the workers, and the sustainability of the workplace by considering the following based on identified needs. First is healthy and safety concerns in physical environment. Next slide, please. The second is health, safety, and well-being concerns in psychological work environment, including personal health resources in the workplace. The third is ways of participating in a community to improve the health of all the workers, their families, and other members of the community.
This is the occupational health and safety in developing countries. Health and safety innovations in the workplace with low cost and locally relevant solutions have been initiated in several developing countries. However, occupational health remains neglected in most developing countries under the pressure of overwhelming social, economic, and political challenges. Next, Mother. Sorry na po yung explanation. In developing countries across the world, occupational health and safety issues are not being addressed seriously. The American Journal of Public Health puts forth that the current deficiencies related to occupational health in developing nations of the world, such as Bangladesh, Central America, Lebanon, South Africa, and Thailand, are due to a lack of government interest in occupational health, poor data and data collection system, and weak enforcement of health and safety regulations. By Noah Head, 2004. Next po, Mother. The issues of occupational health and safety is an area of concern in developing as well as developed countries of the world. However, in the developing nations, the problem is more acute as health and safety is related to issues of poverty, employment, discrimination, and ignorance due to the lack of education, which are pertinent issues. In countries like India, the population is growing at a very fast pace, and a majority of the people are being pushed to the margins of society. They live in regions within the city where there are little or no basic facility to meet their needs and no avenues for employment. Next, Mother. Okay. And also, most of these people come to the city as rural migrants or displaced people who take up menial jobs in nearby factories or are engaged in construction work. In disposing of waste as sweepers and as domestic labor, etc. For most of these people, the workplace is not a very pleasant, safe, or secure environment. Even women and children live and work in the most unhygienic and harmful conditions which can damage their health. Next, Mother. And another essential issue that needs to be addressed is gender concerns within occupations work. Work life poses challenges to women as they have to deal with dual or multiple responsibilities. A working woman has to handle responsibilities within the workplace as well as home. Thus, it is vital to ensure that women employed in different sectors of the economy are able to work freely and safely, and workplace also takes full responsibility for their health, especially their reproductive health. Next, mother. Another very important category of labor is child labor. In developing countries across the world, children are forced to start working at a very young age. They are also employed in professions which can pose serious health hazards and can cause severe disabilities in them. In India, despite the existing legislations, the problem of child labor still exists. Next, mother. So, yung occupational health and safety in developing countries, ito yung ibig sabihin, this considerably benefits the company has health employees are guaranteed to be more productive. And also in company management, employees are obligated to provide of safe working environment all of the employees.
Or occupational hazards. An occupational hazards can be defined as any conditions that may adversely affect the well-being or health of the exposed persons. Identification of hazardous agents and groups of workers potentially exposed to those hazards are essentials to characterize a workplace involving any occupational activities. Occupational hazards can be divided into two categories: safety hazards that cause accidents that physically injure workers, and health hazards that result in the developing of a disease. A safety hazard are those aspects of the work environment that have the potential to cause immediate and very violent harm to individual. Anything that can cause death or cause an individual to lose part of his body is a safety hazard. In gym machinery, equipment, acidic and highly flammable substances, etc. Number 1, health hazards. Those aspects of the work environment that have the potential to cause harm to the individual slowly and cumulatively. This hazard can take years before the effects are noticed. Such hazards gradually deteriorates the employee's health. Health hazards are talent and goes unnoticed until the later point in time. Example: poisonous gases, long hours of work, noise, high temperatures, heavy workloads, etc. It is important to note that a hazard only represent the potential to cause harm. Whether it actually does harm will depend on circumstances such as the number of workers exposed and the degree and duration of exposure. The occurrence or severity of occupational disease is related to the exposure to factors on the job or in the work environment. Such factors can be physical or heat, noise, radiation, spiration, and cold. For chemical, solvents, pesticides, heavy metals, and dust. And for biological, tuberculosis, hepatitis, B virus, HIV. For social stressor, the lack of control over work, inadequate personal support. For mechanical cause of work accident and injuries. Characteristic of occupational diseases. The cause of occupational disease is often overlooked by healthcare providers. This is due to several special characteristics of occupational disease that may obscure its occupational origin. The clinical and pathological presentation of most occupational diseases is identical to that of non-occupational diseases. The asthma, excessive airway narrowing in the lungs, due to the airborne exposure to the toluene diisocyanate is clinically indistinguishable from asthma due to other causes. And supposed to be five types of workplace hazards: biological hazards, physical hazards, ergonomic hazards, chemical hazard, and lastly, work organizations hazards. For our number one, biological hazards associated with working with animals, people, or infectious plant materials. Work in school days, daycare, facilities, college and university, hospital, laboratories, nursing homes, etc. may expose you to biological hazards. Such hazards includes blood and other body fluids, bacterials and viruses, fungi, insect bites, and animal and birds. Physical hazards are factors within the environment that can harm the body without necessarily touching it. Such physical hazards include electromagnetic waves, radio waves, high exposure to sunlight, ultraviolet rays, extreme temperature, hot and cold, and lastly, the constant loud noise. Ergonomic hazards occurs when the types of work Ergonomic hazards occur when the types of work, body position, and working condition put strain on the body. They are the hardest to spot since you don't always immediately notice the strain on your body or the harm that these hazards pose. Short-term exposures may result in sore muscles the next day or in the days ahead, but long-term exposure can result in serious long-term illnesses. Ergonomic hazards includes improperly adjust workstations and chairs, frequently lifting, poor posture, awkward movements, especially if they are repetitive. And for our number 4, chemical hazards are present when the worker is exposed to any chemical preparations in the workplace in any form, solid, liquid, or gas. Some are repair suffer than of others, but to some workers who are more sensitive to chemicals, even common chemical solution can cause illness, skin irritation, or breathing problems. Chemical hazards include liquids like cleaning product, paints, acid, pesticide, weedicides, etc., especially if such chemicals are in unlivable container. Vapors and fumes that come from welding materials. Gases like smoke from burning substances such as weeds and plants, fumes from exhaust or engines, smoke from cigarettes, etc. Flammable substances like petrol, kerosene, and other explosive chemicals. And lastly, for our work organization hazards, activities that the workplace that cause stress, short-term effects and strain long-term effects. For example of work hazards includes workload demands, workplace violence, workplace bullying, lack of respect, lack of flexibility, and lack of social interaction and relations. And lastly, the sexual harassment.
So let's move on to occupational hygiene, the profession that aims specifically at the prevention and control of hazard arising from work processes is occupational hygiene. The goals include the protection and promotion of workers' health, the protection of the environment, and contribution to a safe and sustainable development. So dito kailangan po na na maayos yung pinagtatrabuhan mo para sa safety na rin ng mga workers at ng mga pumupunta sa office kung saan ka nagtatrabaho. Occupational hygiene is defined by the International Occupational Hygiene Association or IOHA as the discipline of anticipating, recognizing, evaluating, and controlling health hazard in the working environment with the objective of protecting workers' health and well-being and safeguarding the community at large. So, it involves the practice of identifying the hazardous agents, chemical, physical, and biological, in the workplace that could cause disease or discomfort, evaluating the extent of the risk due to exposure to these hazardous agents, and the control of those risks to prevent ill health in the long or short term. So dito kinoconsider natin ngayong pandemic. Siyempre ngayon, laganap ang sakit. Kailangan nating panatilihin ang hygiene ng occupational places natin. Occupational hygiene draws upon, yet integrates background disciplines such as biology, chemistry, physics, medicine, engineering, or toxicology. So dito pumapasok ang science. In part, it can be regarded as the aspect of the risk assessment field which focuses on the interface between workplace-derived hazards and chronic human health consequences. The management of these risks by means of control programs is similarly an integral part of the discipline. Next. So these are the practices of occupational hygiene. The classical steps in occupational hygiene practices are the following. The first one is the recognition of the possible health hazards in the work environment. Next, the evaluation of hazards, which is the process of assessing exposure and reaching conclusion as to the level of risk to human health. The next one is the prevention and control of hazards, which is the process of developing implementing strategies to eliminate or reduce to acceptable levels the occurrence of harmful agents and factors in the workplace while also accounting for environmental protection. Participate in overall risk analysis and management of an agent, process, or workplace and contribute to the establishing of priorities for risk management. The next one is to understand the legal framework for occupational hygiene practice. Educate, train, inform, and advise persons at all levels in all aspects of hazard communication. Next. The ideal approach to hazard prevention is anticipated
and integrated preventive action, which should include. So the first one is the occupational health and environmental impact assessments prior to the design and installation of any new workplace. The next one is the selection of the safest, least hazardous, and least polluting technology, which is the cleaner production. The next one is it should be environmentally appropriate location, properly designed, with adequate layout and appropriate control technology, including the safe handling and disposal of the resulting effluents and waste. The next one, it should be elaboration of guidelines and regulation for training on the correct operation of the processes, including on the safe work practices, maintenance, and emergency procedures. So let's move on to ergonomics. When we say ergonomics, it seeks to adapt work to human physical and psychological capabilities and limitations. In seeking this goal, it draws on many disciplines including anatomy, physiology, sociology, physics, and engineering. So, this definition emphasizes the important triad of ergonomic elements such as health, comfort, and productivity. The multidisciplinary nature of ergonomics, sometimes it's the human factors. The ergonomics works in teams that may involve a variety of other professions, design, design engineers, production engineers, industrial designers, computer specialists, industrial physicians, health and safety practitioners, and specialists in human resources. The overall aim of ergonomics is to ensure that our knowledge of human characteristics is brought to bear on the practical problems of people at work and in leisure. We know that in many cases, human can adapt to unsuitable conditions, but such adaptation often leads to insufficiency, errors, unacceptable stress, and physical or mental cost. Next.
Good day, everyone. Today, I will be discussing our topic with the title of Occupational Health and Safety in Human Resource Management. In this topic, we will be tackle the following objectives of OHS to HRM, health and safety programs, industrial accidents, safety engineering, safety education, and training, safety provisions in an organization, and the summary of our topic will also be discussed. Before proceeding to those that I mentioned, let me first introduce our topic. Human resources professionals play an important role in ensuring employee health and safety, as they know the workplace, the employees, and their job demands. Yes, HR should ensure the safety of employees because without them, the company won't be function and by giving them their demands. While human resources professionals are not expected to know the technical aspects of workplace health and safety, they should know when and how to use existing resources to respond to employee concerns. Employees who work in the organizations doesn't tell what are their concerns, right? Even you, if you are not comfortable with the environment or workplace, you didn't tell it because you think you're not in the right position to complain. So HR should the one who will look into that to find their concerns
because that is the role of an HR. In many organizations, health and safety responsibilities are within the human resources department. Like what I've said, that it is their role or responsibility. Human resources professionals are assuming health, safety, and ensuring responsibilities within organization. To run the organization well, they must look into the security of employees because employees are the ones who work for the organization. Without them, the organization won't succeed. Such responsibilities include the identification of hazardous conditions and practices, exposure control and mitigation strategies, legal compliance, development of a safety culture, and measurement of health safety and security program effectiveness. If the employee feels safe, healthy, and secure in the organization, they become productive and effective in their work. So, what is occupational health and safety? Occupational health and safety is a cross-disciplinary area concerned with protecting the safety, health, and welfare of people engaged in work or employment. The goal of all occupational health and safety programs is to foster a safe work environment. Always remember that a safe work environment will lead to successful organization. As a secondary effect, it may also protect co-workers, family members, employers, customers, suppliers, nearby communities, and other members of the public who are impacted with the workplace environment. It may also involve interactions among many subject areas, including occupational medicine, occupational or industrial hygiene, public health, safety engineering, chemistry, health physics.
Objectives of OHS to HRM. Um, First, preventing work-related injuries and illnesses. So dito, kailangan kung alam mo na may sakit siya na hindi pwede sa trabaho, dapat wag na siyang tanggapin. Parang sa kunwari, example is may asthma ka. So kung may asthma ka, hindi ka pwede sa mga work na mabibigat, sa mapapagod ka, ganon. Next is fostering a workplace safety culture in which employees and their supervisor work together to ensure workplace safety. So dito naman, tinitiyak ng bawat isa yung safety ng mga ka-works nila. So, dapat magtutulungan sila para para ma-prevent kung ano man yung mga problem na maaari ay mga um, kapahamakan na maaring mangyari. Next is establishing administrative procedures that encourage employees to report unsafe conditions and unsafe practices to their supervisor without fear of being disciplined. So dito naman, dapat kung alam na natin na may problema sa isang bagay or kung may ginagawa yung mga kasamahan natin na hindi maganda, na parang ikapapahamak ng bawat isa, dapat sabihin na nila sa yun nga, sa mga supervisor. Dapat hindi sila matakot na magsabi sa mga supervisors nila kung ano yung mga napapansin nila na mga unsafe na condition. Kunwari, dun sa, ayun, kunwari sa labas, gano'n. Kunwari, merong may napansin silang butas do'n sa may hole, may butas. So, kailangan na nilang sabihin sa mas nakakataas para wala nang mapahamak sa kanila. Next, developing appropriate hiring, training, and performance appraisal practices. So next is training, recruiting and retaining the best employees who care about their own well-being and the well-being of coworkers. So dito naman dapat i-hire ang karapat-dapat na employee para sa work. Hindi porket kaibigan mo siya, kakilala mo siya, i-hire mo na siya. Dapat i-hire mo siya based on her or his knowledge, based on sa mga experience niya kung alam niya yung work. Next is ensuring that the health and safety policies and procedures conform within the applicable occupational health and safety legislation and accepted best practices in similar organizations. So dito naman, kailangan nating tiyakin ang health and safety ng bawat isa, ng bawat organization kung okay lang ba sila, kung nag-grow pa ba yung nila yung yung health and safety policies na nagagawa dun sa isang organization. Next is establishing procedures for enforcing company safety rules. So, dito kailangan nating patatagin yung mga rules and regulations natin para sa company para hindi mapahamak yung mga co-workers natin. Dapat meron tayong mga rules para sa safety ng bawat isa. So next is helping reduce costs associated with losses due to absenteeism, injuries, workers' compensation, disability, and health care. Maintaining records of injuries, illnesses, and workers' compensation, coordinating first aid training, and the provision of first aid to employees. And last, providing advice to employees and the employer in matters of occupational health and safety. So in short, occupational health should aim at the promotion and maintenance of the highest degree of physical, mental, and social well-being of workers in all occupations. The prevention amongst workers of departures from health caused by their working conditions. And it provide for a balanced framework to secure the safety and health of workers and for connected matters. Additional objective is to maintain the physical, mental, and social well-being of workers, to prevent the unfavorable effects on health caused by working conditions, to become familiar to occupational environment of physical and mental needs to workers. And last, to consider the issues relating to industrial safety, occupational medicine, industrial hygiene, training and education, psychology, and so on. So sa kabuuan po nun is kailangan nating mag-provide ng mga safety words or paalala para sa mga employees, yung mga do's and don'ts na dapat nilang ginagawa para mapanatili yung health and safety ng bawat workers.
So, a health and safety program consists of clearly defined actions to implement the health and safety policy. So in a large company, it is desirable to have a full-time safety director in addition to analysis, engineers, safety inspectors. So the safety director serves as an innovator, advisor, and analyzer. So he has to organize safety programs throughout the plant and organize meetings with the line managers. Next. So Simons and Grimaldi suggest that as a role, one full-time safety director should be appointed for each 2,000 employees. So the safety director must investigate and report on every accident. He or she should periodically summarize all the injuries which have been sustained by the employees during a particular period of time and classify them plant-wise, department-wise, and shift-wise. Next. So the job of a safety manager is to educate and train the line managers in the safety measures that should be adopted to prevent accidents and to tell these managers that the safety of employees is in their hands. So in some organizations, safety work is carried out by a safety committee. Its function is to ensure safe working conditions in an organization. The size of the committee depends on the size of the organization and generally includes two or more persons from among the employees. So the idea is that the workers should themselves be involved in the safety programs designed for them. Next. So the number of elements depend on organizational needs. And here are the following that are common elements of a health and safety program. So the first one is leadership and administration. So in here, the management and administration and the health and safety managers' roles and responsibilities may include monitoring health and safety risks and hazards in the workplace. So it is the responsibility of the managers to give advice to employees on how to minimize or ultimately avoid risks and hazards in the workplace. So example in this is the first aid or the nursing duties. The second one is the management training. So when we say a management training, it is a training activity that focuses on improving an individual's skills as a leader and a manager. So there may be an emphasis on soft skills such as communication and empathy, which enable better teamwork and more progressive relationship with the people. The third one is the workplace inspections. So in here, it is the process of critically examining the workplace for the identification and mitigation of workplace hazards and to ensure that all standards are met and the workplace is in fact safe and free from any risks. So workplace inspections are ongoing process that play an important role in actively monitoring an organization's safety and adherence to safe practices. And the fourth one is the task analysis and procedures. So task analysis is the process of learning about ordinary users by observing them in action to understand in detail how they perform their tasks and achieve their intended goals. So tasks analysis help identify the tasks that the website and applications must support and can also help you to refine or redefine your site's navigation or search by determining the appropriate content scope. Next. So the next is accident or incident investigation. So in here, it is a process for reporting, tracking, and investigating incidents that includes a formal process for investigating incidents, including stopping, performing documenting and tracking investigations of process safety incidents and the trending of incident investigations of data. The sixth one is the observation or the task observation. So it is the part of the safe work method statement review process. So task observation is to be conducted as required when a change in activity, risk assessment, design, variation, system, plant, legislative or company requirement is apparent or minimum every 3 months. The seventh one is the emergency preparedness. So when we say emergency preparedness, it can create a variety of hazards for workers in the impact area. So preparing before an emergency incident plays a vital role in ensuring that employers and workers have the necessary equipment, know where to go, and know how to keep themselves safe when an emergency occurs. Number eight is the organizational rules. So companies often develop a set of rules specific to their operations and sector. So these rules normally reflect legislative requirements such as mandatory training and the use of personal protective equipment. So companies should establish rules to govern the conduct and actions of their employees. These rules should leave no room for discretion and argument, and the rules must be enforced, and action should be taken every time a rule is violated. So, since safety programs already contain the assignment of responsibilities and safe work practices or procedures, rules should be kept to a minimum. Number nine is the accident or incident analysis. So, in here, it is a structured process for identifying what happened, how and why it is happened, and what can be done to reduce the risk of recurrence and make care safer, and what was learned. And lastly, the employee training. So a suitable employee training can reduce workplace incidents and accidents, which in turn can lead to reduced costs, lower insurance premiums, and fewer potential lawsuits. So if there is employee training, it would also promote a healthier, safer, and happier workforce.
Objectives of Industrial Health Program. The basic objective of industrial health is the prevention of disease and injury rather than the cure of disease. It involves a program of health conservation and prevention of occupational disease. There are three different objectives main focus in occupational health. From the word occupational health, it is an important issue for an organization. It can create both short term and long term for health issues. The company must be strongly committed to protecting the health of all employees through awareness. On the first slide of objectives, the maintenance and promotion of workers' health and working capacity. It is very important to know their working capacity and also for their health issues to inform all about this in a company. The improvement of working environment and work to become favorable to safety and health development of work organizations and working cultures in a direction which supports health and safety at work and in doing so also promotes a positive social climate and smooth operation and may enhance productivity of the undertakings. On the second slide of objectives, the concept of working culture is intended in this context to mean a reflection of the essential value systems adopted by the undertaking concerned. Such a culture is reflected in practice in the managerial systems, personnel policy, principles for participation, training policies, and quality management of the undertaking. A comprehensive industrial health program should include a professional staff of physicians and nurses. Yes, it is very important needed to have a position for employees' safetyness. All employees must undergo for checkup. And the last slide of objectives. Adequate facilities for emergency care and injuries sustained in the course of work and for the conduct of pre-employment and post-employment medical checkups. Proper first aid treatment for occupational injuries and disease. As an employee, we need to train also for have an idea how to do a first aid. In case of injuries, etc., they should be the one to volunteer to help their fellow employees. Next is reasonable first aid treatment of employees for non-occupational ailments, for example, for cold, sore throat, skin disorders, headaches, and gastrointestinal upsets. It is different for injuries and diseases. Next is importance of industrial health. The industry exposes workers to many hazards which he would not meet elsewhere and which may affect his health. It is with the intention of reducing these hazards and improving the workers' health that the discipline of industrial health came into being as a branch of public health in its own right. The symptoms of bad health are a high rate of absenteeism and turnover, industrial discontent and indiscipline, poor performance, and low productivity. That is the reason why when industrial health programs are introduced, both employers and workers benefit, and due to this, there is a reduction in the rate of labor turnover, absenteeism, accidents, and occupational diseases. Before you hired an employee, they want you to know the rules and regulations also about workers' benefits to be aware. Occupational health for your business to succeed in its endeavors, its employees must be fit and healthy. For great workplace productivity, the health of your employees is the determining factor. Health is the state of complete physical, mental, and social well being. To live a healthy life, people need to have a balanced diet, exercise regularly, and get enough sleep. They must also live in a stress free environment and have a good hygiene. Creating a work culture that promotes health through all aspects of your employees' lives has various health benefits. They can be fit, healthy, satisfied, and happy. Emphasizing employee health and well being is very important. It contributes massively to overall employee engagement within the business. Employers must encourage a healthier workforce. Promoting employee health is it not the only one beneficial for employees? It is beneficial for employers as well. It is creates a positive and efficient work culture and environment. Promoting the health of your employees will help them to perform better. They will be happier, satisfied, and stress free in general. It will also create a team building opportunities. This will further support a healthy work environment and create a work life balance. A healthier workforce is more engaged, focused, and productive. Being healthy improves the overall quality of life, reducing risk factors for diseases. Furthermore, a healthy workplace will reduce absenteeism and employees' turnover. Thus, employers can reap many benefits by promoting employee health in their workplaces. Promoting employee health in the workplace is the importance of employee health cannot be overstated. It goes beyond smooth day-to-day operations. For a business to succeed, its people need to be mentally and physically healthy. After all, it's hard to be productive when you're not working.
So let's move on to safety engineering. The adoption of proper engineering procedures to minimize and, if possible, eliminate the work hazards is very crucial for any safety program. New products, processes, and machines are designed and full attention is to paid to safety engineering in design, layout, and installation. The most important function of safety engineering is to eliminate the risk posed by the operation of machines, by the processes of the manufacture of products, and by the structure and layout of plants and equipment. The machinery which poses danger to the employee working on it is generally covered or fenced carefully when it is in operation. Use of so by the use of personal protective equipment or PPE shall be ensured like the following. First, safety glasses or plastic eye shields to protect the eyes from the hazards of fire, glare, dust, and fumes. The next one is hard protective cups to prevent head injuries. Gas masks to prevent the inhalation of poisonous fumes. Then gloves to protect the hands against acids and explosive materials. And safety shoes. Overall, skin guards and safety apparel for the protective of the body. All these are provided for the use of workers to ensure their safety
And
also.
for our safety education and training, safety education for all levels of management, personnel, and employees is needed as it is vital for any successful safety programs. The goal of safety education is twofold. One, to develop safety consciousness among the employees and build up the favorable attitude on their parts towards safety measures and precautions, and secondly, to ensure safety work performance on the part of each employee by developing his skill in the use and operation of safety equipment. Some organizations encourage safety contests and competitions among their departments with a view that the numbers of accidents are reduced and employees are also motivated. To enforce plans rules governing safety, employees are reprimanded, fined, and laid off if they are found guilty of any
Let's now
violations.
proceed to the safety provisions in an organization. The first one is fencing of machinery. Every moving part of a prime mover, every flywheel, head race, and tail race of every water turbine shall be properly fenced in every factory. Every part of electric generator, a motor, or a rotary converter must be properly safeguarded. It is obligatory on the part of the management of a factory to fence with guards of a substantial construction every dangerous part of any machinery, such as moving parts of prime movers and flywheels connected to it, head race and tail race of each water wheel and water turbine, every part of electric generator, rotary converter, and transmission machinery. The second was the work on near machinery. The work on or near machinery must be done by a trained person wearing a tight-fitted clothing. No woman or young person is allowed to clean, lubricate, or adjust any part of a prime mover or any transmission machinery when it is in motion. A specially trained adult male must be work should examine, adjust, and lubricate any part of the machine while in operation. He should wear tight-fitting clothing. He should not handle a belt on a moving pulley more than 15 centimeters in width. Women and children are not permitted to lubricate. adjust or clean any part of the prime mover or of transmission machinery while it is in motion because it is very dangerous. The third provisions is the employment of adolescents on dangerous machines. No young person shall be allowed to work on any machine unless he has been fully instructed to beware of the dangers arising from the machines, to observe precautions, and has received training in work under the supervision of a person who has a thorough knowledge and experience of working on that machine. The fourth one is the striking gear or device for cutting off power. In every factory, suitable striking gear or other efficient mechanical appliance shall be provided and maintained, and driving belts when not in use shall not be allowed to rest or ride upon shaft in motion. A suitable device for cutting off power in emergency be provided and maintained in every workroom. When a device which is to be inadvertently shifted from off to the on position is provided in a factory to cut off power. Adequate arrangement shall be provided for locking the device in safe position to prevent any accidental starting of the transmission machinery to which the device is fitted. The fifth one is the self-acting machine. No transverting part of a self-acting machine and no material carried thereon shall be allowed to run on its outward or inward traverse within a distance of 18 inches from any fixed structure which is not a part of the machine. And the next one is the casing of machinery. Every screw, bolt, key, wheel, or pinion shall be so effectively guarded as to prevent danger. Every tooth or friction gearing shall be effectively encased. In all machinery driven by power, every set screw, bolt, or key, revolving shaft, spindle wheel shall be sunk or encased or securely guarded to prevent any danger. Also, all spur worm and tooth or friction gearing while in operation shall be completely encased. The seventh one of among the provisions is the prohibition of employment of women and children near cotton openers. No woman or child shall be employed in any part of a factory for pressing cotton when cotton opener is at work. But women and children may be employed in the part of the room in which feed and is suitable or is situated under the condition that the feed end of a cotton opener is separated from the delivery end by a partition extending to the room. The next one is the hoists and lifts. Every hoist and lift shall be of good mechanical construction and of adequate strength. They shall be properly maintained and examined regularly. Every hoist and hoistway and liftway shall be sufficiently protected by an enclosure fitted with gates. Hoists and lifts used for carrying persons shall have at least 2 ropes or chains or chains separately connected with the cage and balance weight, and each rope or chain with its attachment shall be capable of carrying the weight of the cage together with its maximum load. In every factory, every hoist and lift shall be of good mechanical construction, sound material, and of adequate strength, maintained properly, and examined by a competent authority once in 6 months. Every hoistway and liftway shall be protected and enclosed with gates. Next is the lifting machines, chains, ropes, and lifting tackles. All parts including the working gears, lifting machines, chains, ropes, or lifting tackles shall be of good construction and of adequate strength. This must be maintained and thoroughly examined at least once in a year. In every factory, the lifting machines other than hoist and lifts, chains, ropes, and lifting tackles for the purpose of raising or lowering of persons, goods, or materials shall be of good construction and shall be free from defects and shall be strong enough to carry the necessary loads. Next is the revolving machinery. In every room where grinding work is going on, a notice indicating the maximum safe working peripheral speed of the machine shall be fixed near it. Pressure plant in any factory. If manufacturing process is operated at a pressure higher than the atmospheric pressure, and effective measures hearing that the safe working pressure would not exceed should not be taken. For the next one, floors, stairs, and other means of access. All floors, stairs, passages, and gangways shall be made of sound construction and properly maintained and shall be kept free from obstruction to ensure safety. Pits and openings in floors. Every fixed vessel, sump, tank, pit, or opening in a floor which may be a source of danger shall be securely fenced or covered. For the next one is the excessive weights. No person is employed in any factory to lift, carry, or move any load so heavy as to cause him injury. Next, protection of eyes. For protection of eye screens, goggles shall be provided to the persons involved in welding, cutting, rivet cutting, dressing of metals. In respect of any such manufacturing process carried on if any factory being a process causing injury to the eyes from particles or fragments thrown off in the course of the process or exposure to excessive light, the state government may, by rules, require that effective screens or suitable goggles should be provided to that person employed. The next one is the protection against dangerous fumes. In any factory, no person is permitted to enter any chamber, tank, pit, pipe, or other confined space in which dangerous fumes are likely to be present to such an extent as to involve risk to persons, unless it is provided with a manhole of adequate size. Next, the precautions against fire. Every factory shall be provided with means of escape in case of fire. Doors exit from any room shall not be locked or fastened so that they can be easily and immediately opened from inside while any person is inside the room. There should be well-designed system for detection, control, and prevention of fire, adequate firefighting equipment including foam, vapor liquid, carbon dioxide, dry chemical, fire extinguishers, high-pressure water lines, fire pods, sand, and access should be maintained. Effective means of giving warning in case of fire to every person shall be provided. Next is the exclusive on inflammable gas or dust. In any factory where manufacturing process produces dust, gas or vapor of such nature that is likely to explode on ignition. All practical measures shall be taken to prevent such explosion by an effective enclosure of the plant or machinery used in the process. 2. Removal or prevention of accumulated dust, gas, or fume. 3 is exclusion or effective enclosure of all possible sources of ignition. In number 19, precautions in case of fire. The following precautions shall have to be taken. The first one is exit door to escape in case of fire shall be provided. Second one is exit door shall not be locked or fastened so that they could be easily opened, and they shall be constructed to open outwards. Third, every door, window, or other exit, a means of escape in case of fire, shall be marked in a language understood by majority of workers. And the fourth one is the adequate arrangement shall be made to raise an alarm in case of fire, and that too clearly audible and preferable a siren. For the 20th provision, power to require specification of defective part or test or stability. If the condition of any building or any part thereof is in such a condition that it is dangerous to human life, the inspector may ask the occupier or manager to finish drawings, specifications, and other particulars to determine whether the building or plant is being used with safety. Next is the safety of building and machinery. If the inspector is satisfied that the building or machinery poses a danger to the human life, then he may ask the occupier or manager to repair it suitably. And for the last one, for our provisions, is the power to make rules. The state government is empowered to make rules requiring the provisions in any factory or in any class or description of factories of such further devices and measures for securing safety of persons employed. So, there are the 22 safety provisions in the organization. These provisions will help the organization on how to manage equipments, machines, and other hazardous things, and for the safety of the employees.
My topic is all about health. The term health is a positive and dynamic concept and implies more than an absence of illness. The two has defined health as a state of complete physical and mental and social well-being and not merely the absence of disease. Industrial health refers to a system of public health and preventive medicine which is applicable to industrial concerns. The importance of employee health cannot be overstated. It goes beyond smooth day to day operations. For a business to succeed, its people need to be mentally and physically healthy. After all, it's hard to be productive when you're not well. Understanding the basics, what is employee health and why is it important? Taking care of your employees' health in the workplace is not only beneficial to them, it also creates an effective and efficient working environment that benefits the business. Employee health and productivity go hand in hand. A mentally and physically healthy individual is more optimistic, creative, and motivated. Taking care of your employees' well being also means staff who feel cared for and appreciated, increase morale and job satisfaction, reduce absenteeism, better staff retention, and a good work culture with positive relationship between coworkers and supervisors.
Health provisions and organization. Healthcare provisions is described for various healthcare areas, inpatient and outpatient care, rehabilitation, nursing services, and prescribed medication and medical aids, as well as costs for the different healthcare areas, transportations, and costs in total. Health is an important part of anyone's life. Being healthy does not mean that we're disease free. In it includes physical, social, and mental health too. Maintaining a sound health in undoubtedly a concern for everyone, but it is more necessary for those who are constantly under threat of health hazard. It became necessary to concentrate on the health of the worker in the factory as well as a people in a society in order to standardize the health measures and safety provisions. The first one is cleanliness. Every factory shall be kept clean and free from gases arising from any drain of their noses. For this purpose, following steps should be undertaken. The dust and refuse must be removed daily by sweeping from the floor and benches of workroom, from staircase, and from the passages. Effective means the drainage shall be provided and maintained. All sides wall part, partitions, ceilings of rooms must be regular painted in whitewash. Cleanliness is that there's no dirt, no dust, or no stain, no bad smell. The goal of cleanliness are healthy beauty, no offensive odors, and to avoid spreading dirt and contaminants to oneself to another. Next. Next is the ventilation temperature. Effective and suitable provision shall be made for adequate ventilations must be there by circulations of fresh air in the workroom. Responsible comfort must be provided to workers. Walls and roof must be such material and designed in such way that temperature is not exceeded to keep low in working area. Ventilation and temperature. It is recommended that in the typical workplace and temperature should be at least 60 Celsius 60 Celsius degree unless much of the work involved severe physical effort. Next slide. The third is artificial humidification. If there is an artificial humidification, it shall be prescribed standard and created by the prescribed method. The waters used for such humidification shall be clean and free from dirt. It is important to modify the patient airways artificially to prevent complications such as ventilator associated or pneumonia. Next. The fourth is lighting. Sufficient and suitable lighting, whether natural or artificial or both, should be maintained and provided at the working place. All the glaze all the glazed windows and skylight shall be kept clean on both and either inner and outer surface. Glare and formation of shadow should be prevented to avoid eye strain or risk of accident. Lighting is an essential component of any workplace setting within a context or workplace health and safety. Lighting must be provide sufficient illumination for employees to see their work and to safety negative within the workspace. Next. Drinking water. Drinking water should be made available to all workers at all working hours and should be provided and maintained at suitable point. It helps and to flush the toxic out of your system. If your immune system has less toxins in your body, it's free to ready to fight unwanted viruses and bacteria. It means that working harder and more effective on those bugs that can keep you off work. Next. Next is bathroom. If the work in the factory is such nature which involve dirt, a sufficient number of bathrooms shall be provided. Bathroom provides a supportive thera- therapeutic environment where individual can use self-help techniques to manage their behavior and emotional state in a safe environment. To improve hygiene in your office, bathrooms shall be installed motion actively. They have a faucet, soap dispensers, paper towel holders, and hand dryers. Next. Lastly, it is a latrines and urinals. Separate enclosed accommodation for male and female workers shall be provided. The accommodation shall be adequately lighted and ventilated and shall be maintained in clean and sanitary conditions at all times. Latrines and urinal sufficient accommodation of prescribed types shall be provided conveniently situated and accessible for to workers at all times while they are in the factory.
Next is summary. Human resources professionals play an important role in ensuring employee health and safety, as they know the workplace, the employees, and their job demands. Yes, that's a big asset of a company. Being an HR professional, they should aware through the ups and downs challenge of a company. Even in the health issues of each employees, they are also aware because it's also a part of their responsibility to protect the company's employee, which help which health can affect in the company's progress, especially nowadays, new normal, a pandemic not gone in the whole world. That's why they secured the safetyness of employees. And some company decided not to hire many employees because of our situation, which is COVID. While human resources professionals are not expected to know the technical aspect of workplace health and safety, they should know when and how to use existing resources to respond to employees' concerns. When it comes for checking a condition, physicians is always there to take care of the employees' health of their problem. HR can help for their problems and concerns to inform and they can manage it properly. A health and safety program consists of clearly defined actions to implement the health and safety policy. In a large company, it is desirable to have a full-time safety director in addition to analysts, engineers, safety inspectors. The safety director serves as an innovator, advisor, and analyzer. He has to organize safety programs throughout the plant, investigate and collect accident data, organize meetings with the line managers. A health and safety program is the action of ARM, how things actually work, for a plan or policy created by an employer to encourage the maintenance of a safe workplace. The plan may also address environmental and health policies as well. Next, there are some health provisions like providing cleanliness, proper ventilation, proper lighting, drinking water, bathrooms, etc. There are some safety provisions like providing casing of machinery, hoist and lifts, protection of ice, precautions against fire, precautions against dangerous fumes, etc. The goal of a health and safety program is to improve overall workplace health and safety within the organization. Each employers create its own health and safety programs, also a part of the health safety policy. Laws or regulations may sometimes require that an employer's health and safety program include a specific feature. In short, a health and safety program may be called an occupational health and safety program as a safety management system. What The HR roles in employees' health to ensuring a company invests in the well-being of its people is one of the primary purposes of human resources management or HRM. As an employee advocate, the HR manager should focus on keeping workers motivated, contributing, and happy. The key to achieving this is prioritizing employee health in HRM. HR health initiatives should proactively improve employee well-being. One of the most common ways to do this is to provide employees with access to medical care through insurance, office pop-up, clinics, and more. One approach that is proving to be useful for many businesses is adopting wellness programs for staff. When done well, these programs can lead to an 80% improvement in organizational performance. Though these programs may seem more elaborate than cost of unhealthy employees is ultimately a more significant setback. Top ways to improve employees' health. Improving employee health doesn't need to be an expensive undertaking. In fact, small solutions go a long way toward creating a healthy and happy environment for your workers. These include providing health and wellness programs to your employees. An integrated well-being program addresses all areas of employees' health, be it physical, mental, and emotional health. Enlist help from a primary care insurance navigation company. Eden Health helps employers navigate today's complicated healthcare landscapes across insurance, primary care, and mental health care so they can make it smart, well informed, and cost conscious decisions. Provide annual health screening tests and health services for your employees to make your staff aware of underlying health issues and prevent bigger health problems down the line. Encourage regular exercise in your organization, promote running groups, grant access to gyms and other facilities, or just encourage employees to make small day to day decisions that improve their health, like taking the stairs instead of the elevator. Invest in an adequate space for your employees. Elements such as access to natural light, proper office chairs, and desks go a long way toward keeping your employees motivated and healthy. Create a workspace that supports mental health with supportive broader management, regular breaks, vacation time, and more. Offer healthy lunches, remove soda and snack vending machines, and replace them with a water cooler and fruit. pitfalls. Provide health education with practical and straightforward advice that your employees can put into practices. And that's all. Thank you for listening.